stop. Right now, in this very moment, you are inside something, and you still do not fully realize it. Every day, in a life that runs like a machine, you wake up to the same alarm sound every morning. You fill up with the same anxieties, and a voice coming from deep inside you, very deep, almost inaudible, asks you this question: is this mine? But you do not answer it, because answering is hard. Because when you answer, you have to say no, and saying no means everything you have built so far collapses. I am not here today to give you hope. I am not here to tell you that everything is part of a plan. I am going to do just one thing. I will hold up a mirror to you, and I will not allow you to look away. Now let us examine the first truth together. This video did not find you. You discovered this video. Your soul called this message. Because deep down, you feel that something is not right, and no YouTube video or motivational speech has been able to give you that truth, because none of them told you the truth. I will. You are tired now. Living inside a script written by others has exhausted you. You put on the costumes of the role society expects you to play. You step onto the stage every day, and eventually you realize that behind the stage, there is no real you. There is only emptiness. And you try to fill that emptiness with success at work, with relationships, with approval, but it never fills. It never fills because by design, it cannot be filled. That opening is not a flaw. That opening is actually a door. And to pass through that door, you must first destroy your masks. Carl Jung once said this: when the process of turning inward begins, destruction comes first. That destruction begins today. I ask you a question. How many years have you been trying to be a good person? Think about it. Even now, as you read this question, a voice inside you is probably saying, I am a good person, there is no problem. That voice is the problem. That voice is your enemy. That voice is slowly and systematically killing you. When Carl Jung defined the concept of persona, he was not merely offering a psychological term. He was making a diagnosis. Persona comes from Latin and means mask, but Jung meant something deeper than that. Persona is not the face society puts on you. It is the face you present to society. The critical difference is this: you chose this face yourself. Why did you choose it? Because your real face frightens you. So what happens when you add the good person mask? Society divides people into two groups: those who adapt and those who resist. Those who adapt are rewarded with approval, love, and a sense of safety. Those who resist are punished with loneliness, criticism, and exclusion. You understood this equation at a very young age. Wear the mask and survive. You learned how to wear it. The mask grew over time. Now you are trying to grow into the size of that mask. At this point in your adult life, that mask feels like your real face. But if you want to feel your own growth, you must recognize how that mask has shaped you. Nietzsche made a painfully clear observation about this. According to Nietzsche, people often take ownership of the life they are living, until the moment they realize that this life does not belong to them. When they realize this, they either accept it or choose to close their eyes. Most people close their eyes, because opening them means saying, I am dying. I must die in order to become myself. I must die in order to become no one. And most people are not ready for that. Are you ready? You do not know yet, but continue. Now we arrive at an important issue: the inability to say no. When was the last time you sincerely said no to someone? To a relative? To a colleague? To your partner? To a meeting, an expectation, or a social norm? Think. Really think. You probably cannot remember, because saying no is a difficult struggle for the modern individual. And you never fought this struggle, because if you win the fight, your mask falls. And when the mask falls, you will see what you actually are. That fear, the fear of not knowing what lies beneath the mask, rules you like a master and turns you into a slave. Byung-Chul Han calls this the achievement society. His analysis is precise. The modern individual no longer needs external oppression to become enslaved. He enslaves himself. He tells himself to produce more, to succeed more, This voice is created by the persona. The persona always demands performance, because performance means approval. Approval means safety, and safety means suppressing the fear beneath the mask. But here lies the tragic loop. The mask seems to protect you, but it is actually the very thing that will collapse you. Because when you wear the mask, your real self remains hidden in the dark, and everything that is suppressed eventually returns. Now we are moving into the most dangerous part. In this part, I will tell you about your dark side. It will frighten you, but remember this: your dark side is not your enemy. It is what will save you. When Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, he made one of the most important discoveries in psychology. What is the shadow? The shadow is everything that belongs to you but that you refuse to accept. Your suppressed anger, your hidden desires, your unconfessed rebellion, the emotions and thoughts you do not want to see. The greatest mistake people make here is saying, "I do not have a shadow." That statement alone reveals how deep the shadow truly is. You do not notice your shadow because you do not want to see it, and to avoid seeing it, you constantly project it onto others. The person you dislike, most likely a reflection of your shadow. The opinions that anger you, probably born from the same thoughts you suppress. Psychology calls this projection, but I will say it more clearly. Projection is a cowardly war strategy. Instead of confronting your own shadow, you place it on others. Now let us examine what this shadow does in practice. Think about the moments in your life that you labeled as fate. Moments when someone treated you unfairly, when you lost an opportunity, when a relationship ended, when a plan failed. Did you always see these as external forces? As destiny? No. Many of these situations were shaped by your shadow. The shadow operates unconsciously. It is like a room filled with emotions you refuse to acknowledge, even if the door is closed. The smoke always leaks out. The shadow pushes you toward unconscious decisions. Suppressed anger attracts situations that provoke anger. Suppressed desires lead you to self-destructive choices. Machiavelli approached this from a different angle, but he understood the same truth. As long as a person cannot understand his own motivations, he can be controlled, and very often, the one who controls him is his own shadow. The shadow is capable of strategy. It constantly guides you towards self-punishing behaviors without your awareness. Life then follows a script that slowly wears you down, and you call this fate. Now I must address a truth that the modern individual desperately avoids. Avoiding pain pushes you directly into pain. This paradox is difficult to grasp because modern society treats pain as a problem to be eliminated. Solve the problem, and pain disappears. This is false. This is a misunderstanding of pain itself. Pain is a passage. To cross it, you must enter its depth, not to escape it, but to feel it. Jung called this the small death, the destruction of the persona, the collapse of the mask. This is always painful, because the mask represents safety. Without it, the world feels cold, exposed, and dangerous. But here is the crucial difference. Pain does not mean the end. It means the end of the old self. Nietzsche wrote one of the most striking sentences about pain. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. But I must add something. The why Nietzsche refers to is not given from the outside. It is created. To create yourself, you must first destroy yourself. And destruction is painful. Byung-Chul Han describes the modern relationship with pain with brutal clarity. The achievement society produces individuals who cannot tolerate pain because it tells them to perform, to control pain, but never to enter it. Controlling pain means suppressing it, and suppressed pain eventually turns into burnout. So what is burnout? Burnout is the shadow's final warning. When the shadow says, "I cannot carry this anymore," the body and mind collapse together. That moment is an opportunity for transformation. If you wake up, but most people do not. They rest a little. They take care of themselves superficially. They practice breathing exercises. Then they return to the same cycle because they never asked the question why. They never entered the depth of their wounds. Today, you are asking that question. Now I will tell you a painful truth. This truth lies at the core of modern dependency. No one is coming to save you. That person you are waiting for, that relationship, that job, that moment you believe will change everything, may arrive. But when it does, everything will remain the same, because the problem is not outside. Psychology calls this the savior trap. The savior trap is the belief that someone else will heal your wounds. And each time disappointment follows, the person blames the wrong relationship or the wrong situation. But the savior trap is a loop. The only way out is radical responsibility. Nietzsche called this radical responsibility, not to blame yourself, but to free yourself. If everything in your life is someone else's fault, then nothing is under your control. And a person with no control is not free. He becomes a victim. And being a victim is the safest place, because no one questions you there. Machiavelli understood power and control deeply. One of his clearest observations was this: a person either acts in his own life or submits to the actions of others. The second path is inevitable. And I will add this: submission is rarely a conscious choice. People simply say fate, while in reality, they are making decisions without awareness. Now we arrive at the final and most important stage. Jung defined individuation as the psychological journey of becoming oneself. This journey is not about becoming a better person. It is about becoming who you are. These two are not the same. Becoming better according to society means strengthening the persona, thickening the mask, gaining more approval, and avoiding deeper questioning. Becoming yourself means abandoning the need for approval. It means invalidating the sentence, "For people to love me." It means accepting that the world may hate you for what feels true to you. Nietzsche called this the Übermensch, not a superhero, but a human being who creates his own values, someone who transcends social rules, dogmas, and herd mentality, someone who creates meaning rather than receives it. This is frightening, because when you reach your own meaning, no one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. That is freedom. And absolute solitude. Strategic withdrawal, a concept derived from Hans' work, plays a critical role here. Strategic withdrawal is the conscious retreat from social pressure, performance culture, and approval addiction. This is not escape. It is positioning, like stepping back before choosing where to fight. And that space is the space of inner dialogue. If you have come this far, you are probably asking, how do I talk to myself? This is where the technical core of this video begins. Self-talk, inner dialogue, is far deeper than most people realize. Modern psychology calls part of this the default mode network. But this term does not fully capture the reality, because self-talk is not just brain activity. It is a dialogue, and dialogue requires different voices. The first layer is the persona voice. This voice repeats society's expectations. It answers. It avoids questions. The second layer is the shadow voice. This voice is often silent because it is suppressed, but it emerges in moments of exhaustion, solitude, or before sleep. It sounds harsh, cruel, or explosive. The third layer, the true intelligence, is the observer voice. This voice does not judge. It observes. Most people never hear this voice because they never stop. They never allow silence. But if you can truly stop and listen without judgment, something changes. The persona weakens, the shadow softens, and the observer rises. This is not a technique. This is a process of awareness. Now, before this video ends, I will tell you one final thing. This is not a conclusion. This is a beginning. If something in this video felt like it hit you directly, if you felt discomfort, anger, or even tears, that means your shadow is waking up. Now you have a choice. Ignore it and return to the same cycle tomorrow. Or decide now. Decide what you are ready to end. The mask, the good person role, the obligation to exist for everyone, the strategy of silence. Which one ends today? Because if you end none of them, they will end you. This video was not made to give hope. It was made to wake you up. Waking up is your choice. And real choices never feel comfortable at the beginning.